From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
The death of a man arrested by Gainesville police is our top story. Thank you for joining us for this WUFT News update. I'm Caitlyn Schiffer. FDLE will now review the case. The suspect was arrested for trespassing on Monday after possibly trying to break into cars at a Circle K. GPD says he was behaving erratically while being booked into jail and had been taken to a hospital for evaluation when he suffered a medical event and died. The Florida Highway Patrol investigated a tragic case this week in Lee County. A death on private property involved two young brothers using a golf cart. FHP says the one driving at the time of the accident was just 3 years old. He didn't handle a curve near their home and ran over his 7-year-old brother who's standing in the lawn watching. The older brother's injuries turned out to be fatal. The Gilchrist Blue Springs State Park swimming area had to close this past weekend after a spring head collapse. The state park is located near High Springs. A sinkhole collapse turned the water brown and forced a temporary ban on swimming. But the spring run is now flowing again and people are gathering as if the break never happened.
My dad and mom would take me out here all the time, and it was someplace I wanted to go for my birthday occasionally. And it's now a place I come back to, even living in Orlando.
The water levels returned to normal on Sunday, allowing recreation to resume in the spring. Meanwhile, one of the springs in the Ocala National Forest is closed for swimming due to aggressive alligators. On Monday, an alligator bit a man snorkeling at Alexander Springs. Trappers were called in to euthanize the gator. They had already taken out a different gator earlier this month. FWC will investigate the area before allowing swimming again. From Florida to California, 60 million Americans are dealing with the summer heat. We will get the latest from NBC News in Miami.
It's another day of what appears to be a never-ending heat wave here in South Florida, with state authorities today issuing an alert to residents and also visitors in Florida to keep in mind that the temperatures are still dangerously hot and humid, and there are some tips for individuals in Florida under these hot temperatures that can be followed to stay safe. They're also asking people to keep in mind that leaving babies, kids, vulnerable adults, and pets in vehicles can be dangerous. Of course, the importance of staying hydrated and taking breaks from the sun. Now, the alert that has been shared by state authorities also indicates the characteristics or the dangers of what can happen from the heat. One of those things being heat exhaustion. So they're asking people to keep in mind what the symptoms are. So if anybody is experiencing dizziness, thirst, heavy sweating, or weakness, then that could be heat exhaustion. And then, of course, there is heat stroke, which is much more serious. If anyone experiences confusion, hot and dry skin with no sweat, a rapid, strong pulse, and loss of consciousness, that could be heat stroke. These are, of course, emergencies that can come as a result of exposure to the sun and dehydration. So the messaging is the same for people that come here, visitors and residents. Keep in mind, we are under this heat wave. The sun can be dangerous. They have to take breaks in the shade if possible. And of course, the importance of keep drinking water throughout the day. Back to you.
In sports, Billy Napier was among the head coaches today speaking at the SEC Media Days in Nashville. The Gators finished 6-7 last year, and Napier was asked about making changes to improve on defense.
We want to have a great working environment, great collaboration between the offense and the defense. It's important that you're on the same page throughout the entire offseason relative to scripting, installation, practice format. I think the defense that you're describing there creates issues because of the variables, right? I think the variables not only in the front, the pressure variables to go along with the back end. Playing good defense, there's a lot of factors, but I think your practice environment and your approach to complementary football are key.
The Gator football season starts 6 weeks from tomorrow, with the first game coming on a Thursday night in Utah. That's our time for now, but your Florida news is always on at WUFT.org.